Okay, I think we'll start. Welcome to this free Zoom meeting for scriptwriters and filmmakers. My name's Christine Whitlock. And just to make sure everybody realizes, this is not a class. This is a meeting where you share and network, and we talk about different things to do with script writing and filmmaking. And to remind everybody that this is being recorded, and tomorrow you'll get a copy of it. It'll be recorded onto YouTube, so you'll be able to see it again. And if you have any information to share, please put it in the chat. Tomorrow, you'll also get a copy of the chat. So if you want people to contact you about anything at all, or if you have questions for the group, please put it in the chat and it'll be sent out. And I'll also be sending out a couple of other documents, either forwarding to you or attached in that email. And if you don't want any more emails, please let me know, because I had one irate lady from last time. She says, you know, I only came to the meeting. I don't want emails. So please let me know. I don't spam you with stuff, but if I think there's something important to do with script writing or filmmaking, I send it along. Okay, so what we're going to do now is start with introductions. Ardell, did you want to introduce yourself? Tell us where you are and what you're working on.
I'm sorry, you talking to me?
Ardell Holden.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm Ardell Holden. I'm from Vancouver Island, Nanaimo, and I'm going to be starting to do a screenplay on my first novel. In the 80s, I did have a little company called Family Footprints Films Limited that put people's family photographs on VHS. Actually, it was beta at the time. And then the people wouldn't narrate the photographs. When I ran out of relatives, I closed down the company.
Oh, great. Okay, next is Tom. You want to tell us where you're from and what you're working on?
All right. My name is Tom DeStefano. I currently reside in Toronto, Ontario, more specifically Scarborough. It's cold as hell right now, but luckily my little heater is keeping me warm. Over the course of quarantine, me and a colleague of mine worked on an original IP. It was one of my brainchilds, and I was able to bring on my friend Adam as the main scriptwriter. I never really dabbled in scripting myself, so it was a new daunting task in my life. It was a great learning process, just kind of understanding basically like the cell text scripting, and just kind of understanding how to properly format and put a story together. At the moment, we've written, well, he's mostly written, I've come up with the ideas. We actually submitted to Netflix, and we're still waiting to hear back from them in regards to anything. But we're also looking to network with other people that can potentially produce it. So it's an original IP.
Great. Okay, Alex, you're up next.
Hello, good evening. I'm not going to mention the weather. Hi, everybody. I just posted a trailer because last week was World AIDS Day. I'd done a film about HIV. I will put in the message chat below the website if you guys want to go and actually see the full film. It's about 6 minutes. Want to say thank you for the couple of people that I've been talking to since the last meeting. So thank you, Christine. I've made 3 good friends, contacts since the last meeting. And if anybody's interested in this thing called proof of concept films, hit me up. I just got brought on for an internship with a company in LA. It started 2 days ago. It's really exciting, but it's a whole different kettle of fish that I'm still trying to wrap my mind around. Writing a proof of concept film is not writing a trailer. It's not pulling a scene out of your film. So it's very, very interesting. So if anybody's kind of interested in that, I can send you some that the company's done. And yeah, it's a new ball game for me. So glad to be here. And again, Christine, thank you for organizing this. Cheers.
Great. So Allie, you're up next.
Hello, I'm Allie Petrie. I'm a producer, director, whatever title fits at the moment kind of person. I was a director of development in LA before pandemic hit, and now I'm hanging out in my brother's house, helping out with his kids. So putting my film skills to use, I'm now developing a series that's more of a fantasy, like coming of age drama, and trying to kind of grind in my writing gears that have been at a slow halt for many years while I've been in the producer side. So that's me in a nutshell.
Great. Shelley, you're next.
Hello. Thank you, Christine, for hosting this. I just met Christine this week on LinkedIn, I think. I've been a screenwriter for over 20 years, probably. And just recently I'm working on, actually I'm finished with a comedy feature. So I'm trying to get into that sending query letters and trying to market. That's not my strong suit at all. So also writing some feature faith-based stories based on true stories of somebody that I have come into contact with. So yeah, those are kind of what I'm doing at the moment. So thanks, you guys.
And where are you located?
I am in Idaho, so also pretty chilly.
Okay, Brian. You can kind of tell what Brian does with all those guitars around him.
Yeah, I am a composer. I'm not a screenwriter. I'm just here to hang out. I usually show up to the specific horror one, but decided to come stop by and see what the regular screenwriter group was all about. But that's it. Just kind of sit back and listen.
Just to let you know, the horror one, I've decided not to continue because the last one we had, there wasn't anybody who was talking horror. And, they were all basically screenwriters and filmmakers. So I just thought, twice a month is enough. And it'll give me another night for writing. So I'm only doing this twice a month now. So Sonia, you're next.
Hello, I'm Sonia Stelly, a screenwriter here in Dallas, Texas. I just finished a featured thriller that I'm marketing right now, and it's set in New Orleans, and it is about a woman who thinks her mother-in-law, who is a voodoo priestess, is stalking and trying to kill her. So that's what's going on with that one. So I'm marketing that one right now. And then I just started writing a drama that just kind of has to do with like the racial unrest and things going on in this country. So once I'm done with that feature drama, I'll be marketing that as well.
Great. And Doug.
I'm a retired old film producer. I have been a screenwriter since, 1972, I think. My first script was, I wrote my first script and I sold it right away, and I assumed that this screenwriting gig is a piece of cake. And it's gone downhill ever since. But I've been in the business since the late 60s, doing all kinds of things. Now that I'm retired, I have time to go back and do some more production and some teaching. I teach screenwriting, and I will be teaching film production out here in Oregon as soon as the governor says we can all go out and play in the public again. So that's what's happening. I'm always in the market for crew. And I'm always looking for some really decent, good short film scripts that are strong in character development. I don't get into horror and all that kind of stuff. I like to really do a proof of concept designed around character with a strong theme.
Okay,
I'm just here to
next is Pauline. I hope you've got some things to tell us. You have to unmute yourself.
All right. Well, first of all, Christine, I am so grateful for all that you send out. I've looked into a lot of things. I've been attending meetings and conferences and just learning so much. So thank you for that. I live in Normal, Illinois, where I am a professor at Illinois State University. I started working in television production back in the 80s through public access television. I've written, I had a situation comedy, I've done documentaries, children's programming. And when I was an elementary school teacher, I used to teach my students acting and production, and we did some shows for public access and public television way back when. And now I'm getting to the point where within the next couple of years, I'm going to retire from the university and go back to my first love. And I'm still working on television and film production. I'm also interested in film. So I've written a screenplay, and I've been working on it for a while. In the last session, I mentioned that I had sent it out for feedback to a script doctor. And so I got it back, and with a lot of very positive feedback. It was very long, but they were able to help me cut it down about 6 pages. And then they gave me suggestions on what else to do, you know, with the editing, and just lots and lots of comments. They thought it was a very entertaining and unique story. So that was positive. I was happy to hear that. And so that's what I'm working on now, just the edits based on the feedback that I got from them.
Great. So Adam, you're next.
Hello, everyone. I've been pretty busy as of late. This is actually my first time coming here, so happy to be here. The last few months have been pretty crazy. I've kind of refound my love of screenwriting, and I've been very busy writing a bunch of different things. I wrote my first feature film back in June, July, and I'm working on some TV pilots as well. And luckily, I've been able to work on production as well. I work as part of the sound team on a TV show up here in Toronto. And so when I'm not doing that, I'm editing and working on the other projects I've been meaning to get out to market, or trying to figure out how to market those. And always another project in the head as well. So trying to figure out the next feature or the next big thing for me. So yeah, that's been what I've been up to. Great.
So Nick, you're next.
Hi. An update that I have is, so I've been working on my existing script, which is a romantic comedy, and so I'm up to 25 to 30 pages for that. There's progress on that. I also reviewed the Netflix impact, Netflix, and the theme for the fourth and final prompt is action comedies. So I've been, I started a script, just a scene breakdown, and the script is about a movie about two cops who, and they're differing characters in terms of, one is very funny and, aloof, and the other one is very strict and smart, and they get assigned for a project to locate a drug dealer in Kashmir, India, which is where, it's kind of bordering, that city itself is a very controversial city, and there's a lot of drugs that get produced there, and it's bordering India and Pakistan, so there's just already controversy, but they have to go there to locate him, and just all the obstacles they have to face. So that's kind of I'm just I'm practicing, and I'm going to see how much I can get through it, and if I'm able to submit it this time or next time. But yeah, thanks for sending that though.
Great, thank you. And myself, Christine Whitlock, I'm in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, which is just south of Toronto. And I'm working on my 9th feature script. I'm on the 8th edit. It's a Hallmark spec TV mystery pilot. And so if anyone doesn't have the information about that Netflix impact, I have the email that I can send you. It opens December 15th for applications, and it goes to January. So I can send it off to all of you. So you can look at it. So as Nick said, they're looking for action comedies. And Alex put in the comments that it was very intense. I looked at it for my thriller script, and they want you to do a lot of research on it, on your script, and that's one of the things that I'd like to talk about. Is I came up with a document, which I'll send to everybody, what a script writer must have ready before approaching a producer. And Ali, as a producer, you may let me know, you'll get this tomorrow, if there's anything I've missed or things that may not be as important. Now I says, you should have all of these things ready. That doesn't mean that all of them will be sent out to the producer. A producer may not ask for all of these things. Now, just to let you know, since I last had the Zoom meeting, I had 3 producers contact me that I met on LinkedIn, and it's very important to have a good relationship with people on LinkedIn. Do not be aggressive. You're not to pitch them as soon as you connect. That's not the start of a relationship. You got to get to know them nicely, and then if you just find out what they're doing, you tell them what you're doing, and then if they say to you, what have you got? Then you send them. 2 of them did that to me. What scripts have you got? So I sent them log lines. One of them came back and asked for a feature and 2 short scripts that I sent off. Another producer was from Sony Pictures India. He's looking for a web series, 45 minutes in particular. And if anybody wants his information, I can send that to you, but contact me through my email privately and I'll send that out. And I have a sheet on what he wanted. It's interesting what he wants from a web series, which is entirely different. And he wasn't clear about that at the beginning. And I said I had this thriller. Well, I sent him the thriller and he says, can you make it into a web series? And that's not what I wanted to do, with that script. And then I said to him, well, I have a couple of, I have 4 web series, but they're only 1 minute long, 30 second to 1 minute. They're comedies. like almost like fillers. So I sent it off. And again, like I said, I think there's something like 14 different things that he required you to fill out and submit along with your initial script. So I'll be sending that off tomorrow. Just gotta get a drink. So of course, these are the things as screenwriters that you need to start off. And as I was telling people in weeks past at other meetings, once you come up with an idea for a screenplay, you should keep a timeline of how long it takes you to write this from start to finish, because you need to know how long you personally need to do this as a starting screenwriter. On Saturday, I took a webinar that I had to pay for on writing a Christmas movie. It was worth the money because she sent an ebook and she took your log line and she will assess it and give you feedback on it. Plus, you know, she does consults and all that. She writes 6 scripts a year for like Hallmark or Lifetime or any of those, plus directing and producing. So she says it takes her at least 2 months to do a script. So, okay, so some of these things that, like I said, you don't have to write these down because you're going to get it unless you want to make some notes. So, okay, you've got your concept. Okay, so just say December 1st, you came up with a concept, like Nick did for his action comedy, okay? You came up with the idea. Put the date, December 1st or whatever you came up with the concept into a
Do
document.
you use Excel sheet, Excel or Word?
No,
Or
whatever Word, you know, Word.
okay, Word.
So,
Okay.
so under my documents, I make a new file for that new script, right? So you come up with a title. You can change the title at any time up to the point until you register that title with Writers Guild of America, East or West, or the Copyright Office. Okay, so you got to know the genre. What is it? Well, with Nick's, it's action comedy. Okay, next, come up with the log line. Again, this will and can change during the 2 months or 6 months or whatever long it takes you to do the script. So log line is 1 to 2 sentences, usually up to 30 words. Next is a synopsis, and that's 500 to 1,000 words, single space, which gives you general idea of what the script is about. And this webinar that I went to on Saturday, she says they mainly start on your log line. They don't want to read the whole script. They want to be sold on the log line and then next to the synopsis. Now the synopsis, personally, I start with a list of beats. Beats are 1 sentence things that happen in all the scenes. So you've got your 3 acts, and if you know that most scripts would go up to, just say at the most 110 pages and no less than 60 pages, and Act 1 is just say 1/3, and Act 2 is not quite 2/3, and then Act 3 is less. So you've got the 3 acts, and so you put your beats in there, and from the beats, I make my synopsis. Now, it isn't necessary, I put optional, to do a treatment. A treatment is a larger written account of your script. It can have some dialogue in it, but it doesn't need to. And a treatment is 3 to 30 pages single-spaced. Now, this presenter on Saturday said sometimes she's given a treatment that someone else has written, and then she has to rewrite it before it gets approved by the production company or the network before she can go ahead and do the script. But like I said, don't do the treatment unless you're asked to. But again, if you check out production companies' websites, they may say that they require a treatment, so just be advised. Now, again, if you've done your list of beats, you should have your list of main plot points. What is the first turning point in Act 1? What is the midpoint in Act 2? What is the turning point in the climax in Act 3 and the resolution? Now, you have to have your main characters' descriptions and their character arcs. And next is your list of characters, all of the characters that are in your script, because nowadays they're looking for, in a lot of horror movies, horror scripts, 2 to 3 characters, that's it. So, you know, the more characters, of course, the more money. They're looking for low budget. List of locations. You need to have the list of locations. Pardon me. And if, you know, like I said, for horror movies, they're looking for 1 to 3 characters, 1 to 2 locations. But you may, within your location, break that down. So if it's going to be in a house, where is it going to be filmed? In the kitchen, in the bedroom, in the basement, in the closet. You can put that, it's one location. They don't have to move, but they have to do various setups. So that is good for you to know also, because all of those things I do with each script is put it into an Excel sheet where I put every scene number. Every scene has your point of view, which characters, which locations, which special effects, the scene number, whether it's interior or exterior, day and night. You can visually see it in an Excel sheet right off the bat. It tells you all these things. So also, a lot of producers want to know what kind of special effects you have. Is there any crowds, car crashes, explosions, you know, like children, pets, because these cost a lot of money. And right now, like I said, they're not looking for those things, but that Impact Netflix is looking for action comedies, and they're looking for high concept. So we're all going to be writing the script the first time, and you absolutely never send your first draft to any producer, director, anybody. You should at least edit it, because I've been asking screenwriters as I connect with them on LinkedIn, how many times do you edit? And I'm getting from 3 to 10 times that they have to go through. And the first one, of course, is your grammar. You know, you have to go through and check your grammar. You have to check your formatting. You always do a personal reading of it out loud, you know, 2 or 3 times, because you find a lot of problems when you read it out loud. And if you have the capacity to, you know, read it into a cassette recorder, or if you read it into your phone and then listen to it a few days later, you know, you may find other things or words that don't sound right, or could be told differently for the dialogue. And after, well, I'm going to be editing my Hallmark script 10 times. I'm on the 8th edit now. then I'm going to be sending it to a script doctor because the one I use, he gives me a rating on my script and tells me the problems with it and things like that. So there are a number of script services that will assess your script and tell you what's wrong. So like Pauline did. She went and found that, and they gave her great comments. So that's good. Now, another thing, because I'm quite sure it was in that Netflix impact that they asked for, at least 2 similar film comparisons. So you need to say, my film is like this. So you need to come up with at least 2 films. You have to put together your writing resume, not your regular work resume. So any volunteer work that you've done, any courses that you've taken, you can put down if you don't have an extensive writing resume that you are going to Zoom meetings like this one for writers and filmmakers for networking and sharing, because it's almost like taking a meeting. Now, if you're putting together a TV series, they want a Bible. I'm not going to go into that. Now, a few meetings previously, someone had put together a 1 to 2 minute video of their script to submit well, it turned out to be Bell Media here in Canada, and they got their series, it was a web series, accepted because of that 1 to 2 minute video. So that's something to check into. Another thing that I know one producer asked me, but I never produced for that script, and I haven't as of yet, is a pitch deck. So you'll have to Google about what that's all about. And like I said, once you think your script is, gone through your 3 to 10 edits and your script doctor, and if you've read it and made all the changes that the script doctor has suggested, then a lot of producers will not accept your script unless it's either registered with the Writers Guild of America, East or West, or the Copyright Office. Okay, so Ali, you got anything to add to that?
No, I think that's a very good summary. I would say that mainly for pitch decks, that's definitely like more of a developmental tool for networks that we've been using for series. If the producer that's working with you, usually a director of development, or like if you're working with an agent that's going back and forth between the two, if they're asking from a pitch deck from you, I would say that's a little bit strange. Usually like really reputable people in those positions will help make that, or actually make the deck, because they have graphic designers on hand that are doing that for you. If anyone's asking you to make that before they even have a treatment and that kind of stuff, they're not really interested. They're looking for something easy to push through. And that's probably what most of your questions on this impact questionnaire was. Like, how quickly can I get to the point of what you're trying to sell me of your script, rather than like me taking the time to read things through because people are lazy.
Alex, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, about the comparisons. I've been seeing the word used a lot recently called nutshell. So in a nutshell, what are the comparison movies? I've seen that a lot.
Oh, great.
I had a quick question about the Netflix impact. Can you, how often is it? Is it every quarter, I'm assuming, or it's every quarter? Okay. And how can you reapply? Like, let's say,
No,
oh,
you have to apply by the deadline. It opens December 15th, and then it closes in January. They haven't said how many that they'll have next year, but this is the last one this year.
Okay.
So
okay. Well, I'm just saying, let's say I submit it and then it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, and then they open up next year. I can have a whole different script ready for a
Nikhil,
different theme.
they specifically asked for what they're looking for each quarter. I applied last quarter. They were looking for a female-driven thriller.
Okay.
This time around, it's a completely different concept.
Okay, but it doesn't matter. They won't like look at your profile even if you apply too many times, right?
Oh,
No,
no,
because
no,
it's a
no.
different.
Okay.
it's a
It
different
just
role.
okay. So they won't. Okay.
Different every time.
So keep applying. Yeah. Just, and how many did it say? Like how many? Alex, how many pages is it roughly around? Like
If
on
you want to
average?
see my application, you can email me. My email's in the chat. I'm just going to
Okay.
tell you, I spent 5 hours on the application. It
Okay.
was so intense. Christine's done it. I mean, they
Okay.
were asking me things which I was glad I hadn't thought about to even ask myself in my script. That's why
Okay.
I actually really enjoyed it, but I did
Okay.
spend the whole day on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna just see where I'm at. You know, it's in a, but yeah, otherwise I'll just I'll
I
try
would
to
actually
be
say to everybody who's applying, if you can't answer their questions, then your script's not ready for them. That's how I looked at it.
okay. All right. Thank
It's
you.
like being in a pitch. If you
I'll
can't
shoot
answer
you
the
an email.
questions that they're looking, they want specific things that you just don't know. I can't think of that. Then you're just not ready
Okay.
this time around.
Sounds good. I'll send you an email over. Thank you.
And I was saying, what I just spoke about is what you need to have before you contact a producer. So once you start contacting producers, you need to have a tracking system of who you have contacted, when, your follow-up, and then what has come about, like if they want notes or whatever, because that's why I couldn't send in my application for that thriller application for Impact, because I had sent that thriller script to so many production companies and producers. I never kept track at the beginning, and they wanted to know, because they may be partnering up with different production companies, and if they've passed on your script, they don't may not want to deal with it. Now, two new people haven't introduced themselves. Julian, if you want to introduce yourself, unmute yourself.
Hi there. You speak, I think I'm the only Julian, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I was like, are you talking to me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry for jumping in late, but I'm Julian Martin. I mostly write screenplays. I've written one novel. I've placed semi-finalist in Screencraft's Horror 2020, and currently a quarter finalist in Screencraft's Action and Adventure contest right now. Written about 8 screenplays, including a trilogy, and but I really didn't take it seriously for a very long time as far as like really learning what I was supposed to do. I just kept writing. So past 3 or 4 years I've been trying to take it seriously and professionally. So.
And where are you located?
Iowa.
Great. Okay, and Fatima, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Fatima. I'm from New York, and I'm working on my first feature screenplay. And I find a friend who's a director and screenwriter. So after I finish my screenplay, we will decide if they can make my script.
Oh, great. Good. Alex, did you have something else you wanted to say?
No, thank you. I'm done.
No, Alex.
Yeah, just on that, as I said, on that application, you know, these are just opportunities that come by, but go by maybe the guide that Christine's going to send us, because again, when you look at the application, you're going to ask questions about your script you never thought of. And as I said, it took me 5 hours. So if you're not ready this time around, don't worry about it. It's always a long game. I'm sure Doug can talk more about this than I do, but I've been doing this for 7 years, and it's just a long game. If we keep sticking at it, we're going to find some success, because think about it. There's a million people out there who say, oh, I'm a scriptwriter, I'm doing this, but they never do anything. So Just stick with it. You'll find success. It may be small success. Like me, I'm a nobody. And trust me, if you start looking at the stuff I've done, you're like, wow, this guy's, he's done quite a lot. Yeah, just because I keep working at it. So, just keep going, everybody. Have the faith. You're going to get there.
You. Thanks.
And like I said, building relationships and letting people know, of your successes and different things that you do. Like tell people, I'm on my 8th draft of this script, or I've just started, like Fatima, that I'm teaming up with another scriptwriter and director, and then give your log line of your script, because you never know, like in LinkedIn, who's going to be looking at it. Like there's all kinds of producers, directors, and filmmakers that may be looking for that item. Like one producer was looking for someone. Now, what was it? And Doug told me to contact someone very famous who does that kind of writing and filmmaking. It wasn't social commentaries. Remember, I think it was the last time we spoke, Doug, that you said, I can see the guy's face. He's got a round face with glasses, and I can't think of his name right now. He's a famous documentary. He's won numerous awards.
The guy up in Michigan. Is that the guy you're talking about? I can't remember his name right now, but he's the guy he's in Michigan. He did 9/11 and stuff like that.
Michael Moore.
Michael Moore. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, he's done a nice job with documentaries. So is Cassie Bird up in San Francisco. She's done very well doing documentaries as a small-time operator. What you have to do if you're going to be a filmmaker is to find your own niche market where you fit. And what you're talking about here, Christina, is you're getting very formulaic on writing all these long form scripts for feature-length films. And I'm saying, absolutely most developers or producers nowadays are independents, and we're looking for short things. I'm doing a whole internet show out here. I'm doing, I have my cable network. I have to re-edit it right now. And I'm looking for short films, 10, 12-minute films, stuff like that I can run on television. And they're hard to find because most of this writers and screenwriters and stuff in here think they're going to go out and write a big tent pole and, set Hollywood on its ears. But one thing I got to tell you about Hollywood is not about to change its evil ways for the likes of you or me. So keep that in mind. I would suggest you spend more time working in shorts first. And once you get that organized, and once we get all this COVID nonsense and dust settled down where we can get out and start doing things again, you'll find that there's more production in your neck of the woods than you could ever imagine. There's no reason for you to be writing these tent poles and stuff trying to peddle them to Hollywood. Hollywood may not be there very much longer. Matter of fact, I think they're kind of going away now.
And you can post your short scripts, the log lines, for free on Inktip and also on Script Revolution. And I have my scripts being looked at on Script Revolution. I think I had 2 today. So, you have producers looking at your stuff all the time. And if you have any short stories, they also make them into short scripts. So writing is writing. So you can, adapt from one to the other.
Well, CJ in that over in England with his Script Revolution has done a mighty fine job. The downside to that is that he's in the European theater. He's in Britain and that market. And they're very much interested in short films over there. Here in America, not so much. Here in America, we all want to write feature-length, gold mine scripts. But if you're going to do shorts, CJ is a wonderful place to go. And I can tell you that, Inktip has done me well over the years. I haven't followed them recently because I'm not into really so much writing anymore as I am now into production. But they're a good place, good folks.
And Ardell, you had some questions for the group?
You want me to
unmute
ask
yourself?
Sure.
Ardell?
One of the ones that I was wondering about was what software do you use? A friend who uses a particular software, and I assume there's several out there, like templates for screenwriting. And I just wondered if anybody had a favorite, or if they just used like Word.
Well, there are zillions of software programs out there. And what they are basically is they will take care of your formatting. It's very important to have that. The one that seems to have risen over the years to be the kind of industry accepted standard is Final Draft. Final Draft is more than what a typical writer needs in that it has a lot of production-based pieces to it. But it's one of the best, and you won't go wrong with it. There are others out there, are Movie Magic or whatever they are, something like that. But they just don't have all the bells and whistles that you will need as you get serious about becoming a screenwriter. They're great if you're not going to get serious. Celtex has a free one. You can't hardly beat free, but it just limits what you can do. So
You may as well start off with the best.
you might as well just start off with Final Draft. It's not a particularly expensive thing. You can find it on sale for 160,
Yes.
170 bucks, something like that. And so it's not exorbitantly expensive, but it covers you everything.
Can I add something about Final Draft?
Go for it.
If you are a student or a teacher, you can get an educational discount on Final Draft. So I got mine for a big discount.
Yeah, you can get a student discount with that if you are a teacher. Because I know I started out with that years ago.
That's all.
My second question was about the Screenwriters University. I'm getting these notifications almost daily. Is anybody familiar with that?
Sounds to me like they're just trying to sell you something.
I've taken classes with Screenwriting University. I felt like it was helpful to me. They have, several different, classes on certain genres, and then they have like the pro series. So yeah, I've taken classes with them, and I felt like it was helpful.
Thank you, Sonia.
But the thing is,
all these classes that you're talking about, all of them have something to offer. But I'm going to say very few of them have all to offer. And if you really want to learn screenwriting, that's a self-driven kind of a thing. And what I suggest is you go out and buy Dave Trottier's Screenwriter's Bible. That's a good start. It'll teach you, the formatting and, all the yada, yada, yada stuff. And there are a couple of good books out there. I like Anatomy of a Story by, I can't remember his name here. But there's half a dozen decent books. Now you can go out and spend $100, $200 on books, or you can spend $50,000 a year at UCLA Film School. Now, which way you want to go is your choice. But if you're dedicated to this, you can teach yourself everything there is to know, and then some, by doing it yourself, and then going out and producing it yourself. You write a short script and you go out and shoot the damn thing. You go out and produce a thing. You will learn more than you can ever imagine. And that's more a valuable education than, you know, going to film school and being in Hawk for $100,000, $200,000. And maybe you can find a job and maybe you can't. It's your choice.
Now, I would not pay for any courses until you have checked everything on Google under that subject and on YouTube, because there's all kinds of free stuff on YouTube in all different kinds of aspects of screenwriting. So watch absolutely everything. And then if you go onto Facebook, they have different screenwriting groups that talk about different things that you can also learn from. And once you start putting your name forward for screenwriting things, you're going to be on lists for all kinds of free webinars also. So check all those things out. And don't forget that some of the basics of storytelling in narrative also translate for scripts that Readsy on YouTube. They have every couple of weeks great things about character descriptions and settings and plot and everything else that's free. And they're on there that you can go and check out at any time. So, you know, you should be always, you know, checking out all these free things.
Yes, I did read from my novels at the Ajijic Writers Group in Jalisco, and Alejandro Grattan, he was a director, and he said that I have so much dialogue that I would fit nicely into script writing. So that's one of the reasons why I'm going to adapt my first novel to a screenplay.
So again, I would check on Google and YouTube how to adapt from a novel to a screenplay before you start paying anything.
Thank you so much, everybody.
So Pauline, what's your next step with your script? You're working on your notes for what your consultants came back with?
Right, I'm working on that and making edits, and I would like to have a table read after that.
And there are some Facebook groups that do table reads.
Oh, I'll have to look into it.
Yes, Alex.
Yeah, I found one on Facebook and talked to them, and they've just confirmed for January the 16th.
Do you know which Facebook group it is?
I'll put it in the chat. They're from Texas. I just paid them. It's not much money though. It's quite cheap, but it's only for the industry. They don't allow it to go majorly public. So it's like an industry thing, but I'll get the name. I'll put it in the chat. I can't think of it right now. It's on another computer's email, so I'll go look.
And if you do get a table read, it would be good if you can record it, because then you can listen to how the actors are speaking the dialogue, right? When I used to do table reads of my scripts at an art gallery, I would do this once a month. And the actors, I would give them a reference, because, you know, they read this for free, and it was part of their training. But you could see, you know, if they stumble over any words or phrases that maybe you need to change. So see if you can get a copy of it to listen to at another time.
It's absolutely good advice. Absolutely. Because you will find out that as you write things, what you're thinking, and you seems very logical and common sense, when it comes out of the mouth of someone else, it just ain't so. That's where it is.
And I've done table reads before with this script, you know, I saw that to be true. I didn't record them though, and that's something that I should have done. So, but I have a question for Doug. Well, a couple of questions. You said that you were looking for short films for, I'm sorry, scripts for short films. Is there a particular genre that you're looking for?
I'm looking for short films more than I am scripts because I'm not really into shooting any more films. I run my own cable network show. So I'm looking for films to exhibit on television. And I have a little show. As a matter of fact, I have to redo the intro for it here right now. I'm editing that right now so that I can stick it out there on the Infinity Network. We cover mostly Western Oregon on up into Portland, you know, that kind of area. We're not a great big market area, but when we can go back out in public, I will be teaching DSLR filmmaking again at the university. And this is where I will showcase. As a matter of fact, it's called the Independent Filmmakers Showcase. And I showcase films. I don't showcase scripts.
And I guess going along with that, I've written a script for, well, I don't know, would sketch comedy be something that might be of interest to you? Because I do have a short film, but I mean, being sketch comedy is shorter than 12 minutes. But I was thinking of doing another one, and then together, I wanted to go out and shoot them. Well, once the pandemic is over, I can't shoot it right now. But would that, you know, perhaps could that be something of interest to you?
It might be. I mean, I'd have to look at it to decide. I mean, I've got one on the docket right now. I'm down to 3 minutes and 20 seconds. I mean, that has no dialogue. It's a terrific short film. And I have another one that is about 4 minutes, has no dialogue, a lot of computer-based noir editing techniques and stuff like that. So I'm throwing that one out there. I recently had a disc crash, so I lost a couple of films that I had. Perpendicular is one of them that came from a guy in Hong Kong, and I can't get another one, and I don't have it anymore. And there's another one out there. I can't remember what it is right now. But I've got enough films in my pocket right now to get about 4 more shows out. And I'm looking for more as we go. So if you have a film, let me know. I'm not really interested in scripts.
Okay, thank you.
So Doug, if you want to put your email in the chat, and then Pauline will have it. Yes, Alex.
So the company is called Somerset Pictures, and they have scheduled me for a table read on the 16th of January. It's kind of like industry only. And the reason is the actors invite people to see them perform. And then when they're finished, I get a recording, but I also then sit, once the audience is left, I then sit, I guess on Zoom with the actors, and they give me feedback on their characters and the actual overall script. So it's not just for me, but it's also for them. They get to really get into a role and, you know, invite agents and talent seekers to see them perform. But I do get a recording, and more importantly, these actors will give me feedback, which I am really happy about.
And you said it wasn't that expensive.
No. If anybody wants to email me, I can direct you to the lady that I've been talking to this week. Okay. Cheers.
That's great.
It's the day before my birthday as well, so that'll be interesting.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah. So I only got 5 invites. So 1 for the girlfriend and then 4 for industry people. 1's a famous old friend, and 3 will have to be some of these new people that I've met recently just by networking, LinkedIn and Facebook. And even when we're on the webinars with you, in the chat, something crops up and then I say something to them and then we connect, and there you go, friends. Or connections, should I say. It's all about connections.
So Doug, the list that I mentioned about what you should have before you contact a producer, was there anything else you thought of that should be on that list?
Well, the only point that I would make is, you asked Nikki here, what was this film about? The first thing that should roll off his lips is the log line, period. I mean, that's it. He knows that like the back of his hand, and it just is automatic. And then once you go from there, if you find an interest, if you connect with somebody there, then they'll ask you more questions. If they won't, they're going to get off the elevator on this floor and leave you in there. It's as simple as that. That's why we call it an elevator pitch. You've only got 15, 20 seconds to pitch your idea. You can't be hemming and hawing and stammering around and talking about, well, it's like this and it's kind of like that. And it's if the Exorcist met Snow White and that kind of thing. You can't do that. It's just, bam, here's my log line, period. And, if you're ever invited to a pitch session, remember, I'm old time, so we used to do this all in person. We never did any of this online email stuff. So I'm still kind of stuck in that. So when you write your synopsis, it's what in the industry we used to call a leave behind. When you came into a pitch meeting, you had maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, and there would be half a dozen executives in there who were trying to impress each other. And you had to present your pitch, your show, and you had what we call a leave behind. That's your synopsis, because nobody in that meeting is going to tell you yes or no. They're all going to let you walk away and think it's wonderful. And that's why all of you guys that are screenwriters are so impressed when some producer reads your script. The fact that a producer reads your script, in the first place, he doesn't read it. He has an intern or he has someone else who reads it. And, it doesn't mean anything. You have to get in there and personally twist your arms. You have to get to know these people. You have to befriend them. You have to make it this filmmaking industry is very personal. And it's a very small community. And I see an awful lot of young screenwriters out there, wannabe screenwriters, who want to learn to write, like the masters. They want to learn to write like Tarantino, or they want to learn to write like the Coen brothers. Why won't these guys accept me as a mentor? Well, in the first place, they make their living doing that. They just do not have you around. So they're really not all that interested in helping you. So you have to do this pretty much on your own. And you can do it pretty much on your own. Don't be looking at, Christine's talking about all these webinars and all this kind of stuff. A lot of them are pretty good. They give you information. But if you really want to learn it, do it. That's how you learn it. You want to learn to write a script? Do it. That'll teach you how to do it. And if you want to learn to make a movie, do it. And start out with shorts. Simple as that. And that's your film school. And you're not $500,000 in debt either.
And then also go and read what has won Academy Awards or has won the top in the various screenwriting contests.
Absolutely. Watch what has won the Academy Awards. I'm in the shorts industry, so I watch very carefully the live action shorts that have won Academy Awards. From the time that I started working on them, we worked on Lunch Date in '69, and it did win an Academy Award. But, I look at films like The Phone Call recently that won, and I look at films like The Neighbor's Window, which I think was the most recent one, and films like Curfew and stuff like that. These people are really putting their hearts and souls out there, and they're getting the rewards from it. And that guy that owns Fuzzy Logic back in New York that did Curfew is got all the funding he needs to complete his feature-length film. And you guys are always looking for, funding. You're looking for money. Well, that's how you get it. Produce a top quality short film, and you'll get more money than you know what to do with. And the same thing with, scripts. You produce or you write a really, truly fine winning script. And I'm saying you win the nickel, you win TIFF, you win Austin, something like that. There's about half a dozen of them out there. You're going to have more producers banging on your doorknob than you know what to do with. But otherwise, when you write a script and you send it out to one of these ho-hum festivals, it's just a waste of time and money. They don't have anybody there that's going to do you any good. Keep that in mind. It's a real business. Approach it like a real business.
I attended the table read for the Nichols Award winners, the top 4 winners. They had excerpts of their scripts read, and I found it very interesting. I was interested in finding out what they saw as a winning entry. And so I watched that, and I did find it very interesting.
I don't know too much about the table reads that you're talking about at the Nickel, but I do know that I've had some things at the table read at Sundance and stuff like that that have received some really good feedback. And one of them actually went on into being picked up for production, but it died in what we call development hell, And I'm sure that, what's the name? Ali Petrie can attest to, production hell is just where scripts go to die. It's very common, very common.
And that's the one thing that you have to remember, that once you sell your script, you have lost your baby. You can't help it grow up in any way. It then becomes the director and producers and costume makers and everybody else gets their finger into the making that film, and there can be changes in it that you may not recognize your script when it comes out, that they could change the ethnicity of the people, or they get a better tax rate filming in the South or Georgia, and you wanted it in New York, so things can drastically change. And on that webinar I was on about making Christmas movies, she said it's at least 18 months from development to finished film. And one of hers is going to be this Saturday about a charm bracelet in a Christmas movie. So I'm going to look forward to watching her movie. And people were asking, where can you get a Hallmark script? It's extremely hard to find, because of course there's your spec script that you send to the production company, and then they have to, if they do accept it once you've made all the changes for them, if you're the writer that does make it, or if they bring in another writer to make changes, then it becomes the production script, because they have to split it into the various scenes and when things go on, and so it can look a lot different from what you would have sent them as a spec script.
Well, you raise a very important point there, and that is when you sell your script, title to your script transfers to someone else. You ain't got nothing more to do with it. They can do with it whatever they want. Now you can make, if you want to sell it to them with some caveat that you do the rewrites or the polishing or something like that, that's possible. But not many producers are going to do that, because they have their own in-house favorite staff writers and favorite staff people and favorite everything. So once you sell it, it ain't your baby, period.
And you don't get credit as writer?
Well, you get credit as writer, but it's just not your script anymore.
If they bring in another writer to boost it up, if the notes that they give you, you can't make the changes that they want, they may have to bring in a writer for dialogue or action or whatever. So you may get the credit story by, and then, script by somebody else, or you and somebody else, depends on how it is, how much work that you've put into it compared to other people that are brought on.
When it comes to actually making a film, I've been hired and fired on the same movie probably 2 or 3 times over the years. But it's just that simple. There's no stability to it.
Yeah, I think for my experiences mainly, the contracts will differ with screenwriters depending on if we're buying the script to just directly make and just be like, okay, one and done, here's your lump sum payment. Depending on how that script changes will depend on what the writer's credits are. Like, is it, original script by and then, additional credits? Or sometimes it's just an option as opposed to a full out buy. So I'm trying to get funding to just even make that script and kind of put it together. And if, working with Netflix, redeveloping a script that was set in Salt Lake, Salton Sea out by LA, because it's a close by place to do a horror thriller. But now we're turning it into more of an Icelandic shoot because we get better tax incentives in Norway. That kind of really changes things. So in that option contract, having the liberties to make those changes in the script while still having the original writer attached and, having final say over those decisions, like those are some clauses that can be included depending on who it is.
Yeah, there's all sorts of clauses that can be included. And during the 70s and 80s, we had a little cottage industry going where we would just option scripts. Most of them never went anywhere, but we would option 3, 4, 5 scripts a year. We didn't care if they ever went anywhere or not. I mean, that was our industry. Hollywood in those days was buying anything that was on paper.
And they may decide that they want to combine a couple of the characters because they don't have a budget for X amount of characters. You've given them a list of characters, it could be 15 to 20, and they only have money for 10. So they got to combine a couple of the characters, and then you have to, combine their dialogue or their scenes or whatever that they're in. So these are the kind of rewrites you may be asked to do. And if you don't have the experience to do them,
that's
the
you may studio writer.
Then they'll bring in another writer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think in my experience, if you're looking for like not just mom and pop, smaller, producers that are looking for content to develop on their own and make like reels out of, we're looking for really polished scripts. So by the time that I'm getting it and putting my time and investment into it to then make it, it should already have gone through your own process of developing to the point of, being it's at its good point. Like there shouldn't be a need for rewrites at this point, because then I'm just going to have to pay more money for another writer to come in and fix those things. So if I read through the script and I see that there's those problems to start, it's going to give me pause. If I have, $100,000 to make a script and, Alex sends me a film, and Brian, I'm throwing you into this because you're not writing anything right now. Brian sends me a script, and Brian puts in, hey, like this guy is playing guitar, and Alex has this beautifully written full thing, and I don't have to change anything to it. More than likely I'm going to go with Alex's, if I really have to pull a trigger on something, because it's already to a point where I don't need to do extra work on it. So in reaching out, kind of how everyone's been talking about LinkedIn, that's how Christine reached out to me. it's really important to kind of foster those relationships, make those connections. I've gotten, I want to say 20 reach outs in the past week from different actors and screenwriters being like, hey, here's my log line. And it's without any promptings. And the legal side of it, technically, if I was working for a developmental company, if you're reaching out to me with your log line and your script, there could be factors with my company and me as an individual of, reading that script off the bat. So you might have to say, hey, is it okay if I even send you a script? Because if you send it to me, that actually could violate me seeing it before, as not only an NDA, but also like, then I'm then forwarding it onto the company without going through the proper channels. And like some companies get really weird depending on their legal system with it. So I think that's definitely something helpful for when reaching out, just being like, hey, I'm here, I'm working on these projects. If you're interested in anything or looking on the market, I can send you a few things, or, just let me know. But yeah, usually not right off the bat, because that's immediately like, I'll answer you later. And then it's 3 months later because it's COVID time.
Yeah, I can't believe that you would accept scripts from writers. I mean, if I were going to send a script to you, I would have my agent do that. I wouldn't do it myself.
Yeah,
so
but
that it's been through the mill and everybody has, done what they can do to it. If I just send it to you, that means you got to develop it. But if my agent sends it to you, it's pretty hot and ready to go, because otherwise he ain't going to sell it.
It depends on the level of producer. There are definitely younger, scrappier, like smaller production companies that are looking for that kind of work and to really develop and work something out that's their own, to be their next calling card, because they don't have a writer on the team. It's not like Shonda Rhimes, is the writer, but then she has a producing partner that does all the producing logistics to actually think of, oh, hey, like you want to film the scene in, a hospital, but obviously we can't film it in a hospital. So what are we going to do? And kind of working with them in tandem. So I think that's very helpful to find. I'm not necessarily the writer. Like I write, but I'm not like the writer. I have a really good friend that I did meet in film school that I paid out the butt for. And basically we work in tandem. He does horror films, and I kind of bring him down to center to be like, hey, I know you want this crazy tentacle monster, but we can't afford the CG and, we can't quite build it right now. So how can we make this more suspenseful in the plot? So that way we don't have to shoot it. So I think finding that producer that you communicate well with, that you can bounce ideas off of, even if it's not necessarily you both are going in on it to, make the most money out of this script. If you can have that connection to just kind of help each other grow is really impactful.
Now, it's interesting that strange people, I don't know why they contact me. I had on LinkedIn, a gentleman from England. He's supposed to be the most married man in England, and he wants his life story made into a movie. Like, I'm not a producer, I'm a writer. And when I did produce, it was my own films. It wasn't anybody else's stories or scripts or anything. And like, I wouldn't even accept, the invitation, because I can't be bothered. And that's also, I don't want to connect with just actors, because I'm not in production, so I can't give them anything. And, if you have a limited time on LinkedIn, then they get into all of these, questions and everything. And today I had someone who sent me like pages and pages on messaging to invest in their film. Like I said, I'm a writer only. I'm not a producer and I'm not an investor. I never heard from them. Because they didn't do their due diligence to look at your profile and to read, what it says that you do, that you're a writer. I didn't put that I was a, producer, director, or production house or anything else. Like some of these foreign countries, they figure if you're a writer, you do everything, which is not the case. And so you have to be careful about what you say and present yourself to other people. Like I've had 3 of my horror movies on Netflix, but that was years ago, like 10 years ago, through my first distributor. I don't know anybody on Netflix, and I cannot get your script on Netflix because, you know, I'm trying to get onto Netflix and I don't know anybody. So, you know, it's very interesting how they think I have all these connections when I've never met anybody. Even when my films were on there like 10 years ago, that was totally through my, you know, first distributor. So you have to be very careful about what information you let people know about yourself, that they don't get the wrong idea, you know. And like Ali said, you know, don't be aggressive, you know, find out what are you working on, and if they ask you, well, what are you working on? And then I tell people, if they're not interested in knowing what I'm doing, then I don't you know, beat their head saying, you know, read my scripts. That's not the way to make relationships. But the thing is follow-up. You need to do follow-up. You know, like after you've sent your script out, like leave it for a month. I mean, the holidays are coming up. I wouldn't bug anybody in December. I'd wait till mid-January to contact people and say, I sent you this with this date, and this is what I sent you. You know, have you got any interest? And make sure you always put there, I welcome notes and rewrites, that you aren't strangling your script baby. You know, they want to know that you're a reasonable person, that they can work with you.
Basically, they're all grasping at straws. And, you know, they live in a fantasy. You know, a lot of these young writers and actors and everybody else think of Hollywood during the Rita Hayworth days. And it's just not that anymore. You know, it's a whole different animal. And I think by the time we get through with this whole COVID thing, it's going to be much more different. And I think that the independent filmmakers are really going to be able to expand and grow in this. I think that the big filmmakers, you know, the big studios as it is, they really can't even afford to make films anymore. That's why they shoot them in Georgia and Mississippi and Alabama. They can get the personnel to do it. Whereas if they try to shoot it in LA on a big sound stage, you know, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 square foot sound stage with jillions of union electricians and everybody else, it's just too expensive. So let's go to Georgia. Why Atlanta is growing so well.
I got an email a couple of days ago from Hawaii. They'll give you a return ticket to go there if you'll reside for a certain period of time. And this is for the Hawaii filmmaking community, that they want to build themselves up.
Yeah, I have a lot of connections over on Maui, and I have a whole lot of family over there. It's one of those things, you know, you marry into a Hawaiian family and you're married to everybody on the whole damn island. But that's just the way it goes over there. And I know that they are interested in promoting their filmmaking. And, you know, they have some beautiful locations. That's where Jurassic Park and everything was shot. Was over on, not on Maui, that's the next island over. I can't think of it right now. But, you know, that's a tremendous area for doing these outdoor kinds of films, because they got everything you can imagine over there. And they don't have a lot of poisonous snakes either.
Probably poisonous spiders.
They don't even have too many of those.
No?
Yeah, it's a pretty mellow place. They do have a few sharks running around, bite your leg off or something, but other than that, you know, not a whole lot. So yeah, it's kind of a good place to do that. I'm trying to do much of that out here in Oregon, where I'm trying to build a film industry up in Central Oregon. Now, we've had a lot of work going on up in Portland, yeah, where we've done a lot of television work, where we've done, I remember when we did Grimm and we did The Librarians and, you know, a couple other things. I'm involved with the governor's film commission here in Oregon. And I'm trying to bring up film production here in Oregon. Problem I have here is I'm on the shallow end of the talent pool. And when I'm looking for DPs and directors and, you know, actors, the whole 9 yards, ain't nobody here.
So you're gonna be working through the holidays, everybody? You gonna keep up your writing, or are you taking a break? Because our next meeting is on Monday, December 21st. And then I guess we'll meet 2 weeks later in January. So at our next meeting, you'll have to tell me what your script writing plans are for 2021. So as I said, with my 8th draft for my Hallmark Christmas mystery script, I'm going to be doing a lot of research on this. On Google, I came up with all this stuff about Christmas movies, and I found 2 other places that have webinars, but you got to pay for them. All of a sudden, everybody's coming up with webinars, paid webinars on writing a Christmas movie, but they said that they need them all year long. And don't forget about all other holidays, especially anything to do with romance. Like, you know, W Channel is just constant with romance movies, and they said that they start showing these movies even before Halloween. They started Christmas movies in October. And, you know, they might be pushing them even earlier, because so many channels or networks are showing them. And this ebook that I got, she sent us all of the titles of the Christmas movies that were produced the last 2 years, just to show us how many. And they're going to be doing more and more. So, and that's like TV ones, not full feature film blown up ones. So, you know, especially the low budget, and every time I watch a new one, I have my pad of paper and pen, because if I can see anything new in Christmas activities or titles or anything that I could use for a Christmas movie, I write it down, because that's the other thing I should put down on my list. You have a script finished, but it isn't quite what the producer wants. Have you got ideas for other similar ones? I've had that asked. So, okay, so Alex, with your thriller script that you had submitted, have you got a couple of other log lines of other thriller scripts that you may have ideas for?
They actually wanted that as well. What other projects are you working on? So I have about 9 scripts and 1 pilot miniseries. You know, are they ready to go? Who knows? I mean, you know, my quality writing keeps improving, but it's all about getting the right scripts into the right hands at the right time. So good luck, everybody.
And I thought about that the other day. So I went back to, I have a folder called writing, and then that's all sub folders underneath that. And I went through all of the ideas I had for scripts and looked at what I had log lines for, and if I had any pages or extra research material, and then put it on a sheet in case somebody says, okay, the log lines of finished scripts isn't quite what we're looking for. Have you got anything else? So I can send them this list of log lines in development, and I can say, okay, this one I've written 40 pages, and this one, 20 pages, you're in different stages of writing or research to write the script. So I think that's important to have. So Julian, do you have that list?
No, I probably could go digging through some of my ideas I've come up with that I haven't really started yet. Like I said, I do have 8 scripts, but various genres. I have action, horror, working on a comedy right now, my first comedy. And but yeah, that's a good idea. If I went through and cataloged every idea that I've written down, because I come up with ideas a lot faster than I write scripts, but that way. So I have a lot of things like that could be something. That could be something. So that's a good idea. Just come up with a log line for each one at least, and then I guess that makes it a little bullet in your belt there you can pull out.
And maybe that would be something to think about for the new year, for a goal that you come up with one new script idea once a month. So that and if your goal is to write 2 scripts a year, but come up with one log line and one new log line a month that you'd be interested in researching and putting all of those, what am I up to now, 22 different things together for a producer.
Yeah, that makes sense. I could probably double the 8th the 9th I'm working on here, but I could probably come up with 10 more just based on all my notes and ideas that I've got. So yeah, thank you.
And that's why it's very important, like I said, once you come up with that concept, to write it down and the date you came up with, and then start making folders or documents, okay, this action comedy, okay, this document is for the title, this document is for the genre, this document is for the logline, one's for the synopsis. And so you've got your pages already, and then I find that I have to let my mind go and think about it. Like certain scripts take longer to think about than others. Like I've taken off my list of what I tell people I'm working on. I used to say about my sci-fi football script, but I'm having a hard time thinking of how the script's going to end. There's a few ways to end because it's sci-fi, that it has to be something different that hasn't been done before. So I'm reading and watching sci-fi movies to see how they've done it, and then I'll have to read some of those sci-fi scripts.
The one thing that I have found that helps is you start out with writing the ending, and you start with an opening and you have an ending. The rest of the script is all that stuff in between. It's how you get from here to there, and all of the sailings and the stuff you have to go through over the black waters to make it from here to there. And a lot of times you never get to there. You go someplace else. But if you have that ending, at least you know where you're supposed to be going. You're not going to lose your way.
Well, of course, I know that the aliens need to be defeated at the end. That's the ending, but how it's going to be different, that's, I think I have to do some more research about computers and biology and stuff like that to come up with.
Just write your final scene. Just write it. And then you'll figure out how to get there. Maybe.
So you don't think an outline is useful?
The outline comes along as you're going, as you're writing. You know, you have a start point and an end point. It's like having a road map. You know, if you're going to drive from here to there, you're going to get a map. But there's all kinds of different ways that you can go to get from here to there. So the outline is one of those things that I think as you develop it along the way, and it will change as you go. You know, it's not something that's cast in stone. I mean, it's just a guide. It'll help you get there, but it's just a guide.
Okay.
And I find I come up with all kinds of great ideas when I'm vacuuming or washing the dishes or going for a nap. Just before I fall asleep in my nap, I come up with all kinds of scenes that, you know, like I had a problem. How do I solve this? And then it comes to me, and then you hope you remember when you wake up what you've thought of. That's why I have to keep a book and pencil with you all the time.
Well, there's one thing to keep in mind, and that is, you know, when you're driving around, potholes on the road will slow you down. But when you're writing a script, a plot hole will stop you dead in your tracks. So, yeah. So, you know, Pauline, yeah, some sort of an outline is helpful, but it's not cast in stone.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, like it's written, like it's not cast in stone. So anything and everything can be changed at any time. And like I said, once you think it's finished, and then when the production company takes it on, they may choose different things for it, as Ali had said, you know, because of budget or actors or tax incentives to go film it someplace else. So you have to be open to that.
Sometimes characters decide what you're going to write.
They have their own voice.
Absolutely. And that's it. Well, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do that.
Okay, so we don't have much time left. So if you want to, we'll go one by one, and you can tell me what you're planning to do in the next 2 weeks with your writing or whatever until we meet again. Alex.
Hey everybody, I keep mentioning this thing, proof of concept scripts. I have this internship with a company in LA. It's just a whole new kettle of fish. So I'm learning. The guy that I'm with is Giovanni Lampassi. He did Veronica Mars and I think 2 seasons of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Super smart guy, super cool. If anybody's kind of interested in knowing a little more about POCs, email me because they've done a few and they've just released 2 yesterday that I think I can share now. I'll let you guys know. So I'm going to be working on some POCs.
Great. Pauline.
Well, I'm going to be working on the next draft of my script. I hesitate to say I'm going to finish it because there have been so many drafts and I don't know when the final draft will be. But anyway, so I'll be doing that. But now after tonight, I'm going to look at the scripts that I already have for shorts and think about how, start planning for next year for shooting them myself, you know, after the advice, you know, and opportunities that were presented here tonight.
Great.
Well, Pauline, there's one thing I'll tell you. A script is never finished until somebody buys it and it's out of your hands.
Okay.
Somebody takes it away from you, it's finished.
Okay, thank you.
And like I said, if you got any short scripts, post the log lines on Inktip. It's free.
Okay.
So Doug, so you're going to be still looking for short films.
I'm always on the market for short films. I think the next couple of weeks, I just got to re-edit and redo my showcase and get that going.
Great.
That's all I'm going to be doing. I've got some other scripts up here that I'm going to be shooting this summer, but not till then. Anyway, I'm out of wine, so it's time for me to go. Talk to y'all
Okay.
later. Bye-bye.
Bye. So Nick, you're going to be working on this new impact proposal?
Yeah. So I'm gonna, just work on the supplemental documentation, which includes, the log line, thinking of a log line, synopsis, like, the paragraph, developing that, the title, and then starting on the outline. And yeah, see where it takes me. Also review the the actual application whenever it's out, just to get familiar with the types of things they want. And also just to help me, just review some Oscar action comedy scripts that are posted online, and just try to get familiar with more of that. And and then just work a little bit more on my initial script, was the comedy that I was writing before, the Luna Weds Muna. And I'm down to like 20 to 25 pages, and just maybe work on like the rewriting and things like that. So yeah,
Great.
for 2 weeks, hopefully, with the holidays, and then I have to babysit my nephew and niece. So we'll see in between that.
Okay,
right, thank
Brian.
you.
Brian, have you got any goals for the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, I have some footage is starting to roll in from a feature I'm working on, so I'll probably be just writing music till the wee hours of the morning. So that's how it goes.
Well, good luck on that.
Thank you.
So Ardell, you're going to be looking into adapting your novel.
Yes, from all of the advice that I've just gotten, I'm going to do final draft, Dave Trottier, ink tip, pre-write, all of those great tips. Thank you very much. And adapt a blog to a short story and do that script.
Another good resource I've used, I'm using Celtics, but it's really good with, like if you're starting off on a script, like, again, what Christine mentioned about, doing the log line and synopsis and titles for each script, like there's a folder, and you can export the Word document to the project on Celtics, and it's on the cloud, and you could edit it. So I've used Celtics, and it's pretty cheap. It's only like $9-10 a month. So I'm using that, and it's been really helpful, especially if you have simultaneous projects. Yeah.
And the other thing I'm going to be doing is looking for ARC readers for the third in the trilogy, Murder by Pins and Needles, because I hope to publish it in early January or February.
Good.
Thanks.
Okay, Adam.
Yes. I have at least for the next few weeks, I'm going to try to hopefully balance the schedule of working my my production job with writing as much as I can, and that means having some sleepless nights. So be it. But I want to edit the feature that I've written. I think it's like another draft or two away from getting to that next step. So doing that, and then I have another idea that I'm trying to figure out how to best present it and how to break that down. So over the next few weeks, I'll be trying to break that down and hopefully have something more to share next time.
Great. Ali, what about you?
Oh, I'm on full vacation right now, the rest of the year. I'm just percolating ideas for the rest of this fantasy pilot as I kind of make my little index cards that then will go into me starting writing after the new year.
Well, that's something to do. Yes, good. Shelley?
Yeah, stating my goals out loud, that's actually really good because I have not done that recently, and that's maybe why I'm going in so many different directions. But I'm on page 46 of my current screenplay, so hopefully next time we talk, I'll be, a lot further than that. And just marketing, continuing to market my comedy screenplay. That's kind of number one for me right now. And I realize that, query letters are not the only way to go. That's how I'm starting out, to agents and managers. And then contests, I've noticed, kind of start after the first of the year, which makes sense. So I'll do that too. And, you know, I love what you had to say about marketing, or, you know, relationships. So yeah, that's that's sinking in, that it's not just about firing off a bunch of query letters and saying, somebody take my script. So thank you guys.
Good. Tom?
Well, after hearing what everyone else, like, I guess learning about that whole the whole screen circle, writer circle kind of thing, I'm probably gonna gather up some of my friends and just see if they want to kind of go over the pilot scripts and just see if they have any opinions on the way, because some of the friends I have are actors and they're also writers as well. So maybe I can like collaborate with them in a way and see what they what opinions they have and can formulate about the pilot.
Great. Yeah, if you can have a table read, even if it's virtual.
Yeah, that was the word I was looking for.
Good. Julian?
Yeah, well, I just completed Act 2 of my comedy, so I'm looking at Act 3 with, you know, I have a rough outline, but I think I need to have a few more ideas pop up here to really kind of have things congealed, get it really focused, and then I'll be continuing to query. My novel, actually, I've got a publishing offer but it's from a startup press they just launched, Lost Boys Press, and it was my editor. She edited my novel, and she told me that she believed it was a masterpiece and wanted me to publish with them. But she said, I encourage you to look for an agent because I believe this deserves better than what I can probably offer you at the moment. So they just launched with their two writers themselves, and they launched Chad Ryan and Ashley Hutchinson launched this. And so they're waiting for their projects to kind of get out there and get some experience. They having other projects, but they've invited me. But I'm just trying, querying and hearing mostly silence, but it's how it goes. So we just keep on querying. So and then I got a couple other projects on the back burner that I kind of dawdle with once in a while. But the main thing is I'd really like to keep my momentum going on my comedy. It's an homage to the Marx Brothers, and I really think I can do better than the movie Brain Donors from 92, 91.
Oh, great. And Sonia?
So I'm going to continue writing the drama that I'm writing. I've gotten to page like 20 or so, and I'll also continue marketing the thriller that I've completed. And then also I'll be co-writing a web series. So we'll probably get a little bit of a start on putting some things together for the web series.
Great. Now, we never heard from the person with no name. It's just a number, 1720. Can you speak to us, or you're silent? All we see is a telephone. Guess not. Well, anyways, like I said, I'm on the 8th draft of a Hallmark spec TV pilot, and I've got a Google search for Christmas movies that I'm checking out, and I got the ebook for this webinar that I paid for on the weekend, and another one that I paid for, but I haven't watched and made notes on. So I want to go through all of the resources about Christmas movies before I finish my draft, and then give it to my story consultant. And through Inktip, I've got a number of producers that are looking for Christmas stories. And I know a producer here in Hamilton who used to work with a production company in Toronto that made Hallmark movies. So I can ask him if he would look at my script and hopefully pass it on to somebody local, or I also know someone who had just directed one a couple of weeks ago that used to come on to our meeting, but is too busy to do that. Okay, so it's time to go. So you'll get the email tomorrow with the chat and the two documents, one about what you need to have ready, and the other one, what the Sony Pictures India wanted for webinars. The list of what they wanted, just as a comparison, and if you need to have the website for the Netflix Impact, let me know. I can. I'll also put that in the email, and otherwise you'll get the notice a couple of days before the Monday, December 21st meeting. So keep warm and well for those of you in the colder areas, not like Alex, who's down in Florida. So have a great time writing, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.